Alright, photo booth family, this is the tutorial for creating your own photo booth props using foam core material. My name is Corey Shelton. Know many of you from the Photo Booth Network group on Facebook. Shout out to Dave Stevenson for creating such a great group. So let's get started. First we're going to do a little inventory of what we got tonight. First you're going to need for this project a utility knife. Preferably one with a new sharp blade. We're going to be doing a lot of cutting. You don't want the blade to pull or tear at the edges. You want nice, sharp, clean cuts. Next, we have a can of super adhesive spray. This is the 3M Super 77 spray. It's very strong. It can get very messy if you get this on your fingers during this operation. I would suggest that you just be mindful that while you spray this, that you do not get it on your fingers. If you do, stop the process, clean your hands, and then continue. All right. We have a sheet of poster print. This is a 20 by 30 sheet that I got printed at Costco. I use Costco, I use Sam's Club. Either one of those vendors or stores are great for this type of work. It's a high sheen, which means it has a potential for high glare, but if you know how to instruct your guests who are in your booth to tilt your prop appropriately, you won't have that problem. These run about $8.99 at Costco and at Sam's. For the Canadian friends out there, I'm not sure what the Sam's or the Canadian equivalent is for Sam's and Costco, but I'm sure you guys have some big box stores or some super duper markets out there that do poster printing. Again, this is a 20 by 30 print, $8.99. Lastly for the materials at least, I have the poster or the foam core right here. This is a sheet of 20 by 30 foam core, foam board. It matches the size of the poster, which is perfect. I get this from any of the dollar stores, whether it's Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General. They usually have this in wide stock. It's $1 a piece, which is much cheaper than what you'll find at Office Depot or Office Max. I highly suggest you getting it from the dollar store. Now, in saying that, you don't see, this is a very muted or dull finish. You don't have the high gloss veneer on these. You really don't need it because you're actually about to apply a high gloss veneer to the sheet. Also, this sheet has some ridges. If you can, when you buy it, you'll feel down that there's some ridges along this. Now, if you tilt it the right way, you could probably see the ridges. And if you happen to get glare on your photo booth prop, you'll see those ridges, but otherwise you won't see them at all. And if this is a problem, then I suggest you upgrade to the higher dollar, foam core. It's not a problem for me. When I am in a session with a guest, I tend to instruct them on tilting their props, so we try to avoid that issue as much as possible. But for the value and the effect overall, I prefer this foam core. All right. So those are all the materials. My last item that I always bring to the table when I'm about to cut props is a nice tasty beverage. Mine happens to be alcoholic. I'm not suggesting that you drink alcohol necessarily, but I do suggest that you find some type of beverage to slow you down. And then the reason I say that is because a lot of people will get into this and try to rush through it. Rushing will cause mistakes, and mistakes will cause you to reprint and waste money. For me, whenever I have this, it serves as a metaphor almost that I'm going to take my time, I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to do this the right way. All right? So cheers, everyone. Let's get going. All right, again, 20 by 30 foam core, 20 by 30 poster. We're going to start with the adhesive. Shake your can well. Again, keep the adhesive off your fingers at all times. Do not get this stuff on your hands. Doing so will cause a lot of mess on the face of your props. We're going to apply this in a even motion all the way across the board, all the way down the board. Okay? My can is almost empty, which is why I have to continue to shake it. This can runs about $8 or $9 at any of the office stores. Again, I think you should get the super strength or the extra strength version of these. If you go for the more school-like or school work version, you're going to have trouble with the adhesive bonding to the or creating a nice bond between the poster and the foam board. Alright, so we have the foam board thoroughly covered with adhesive. What we're going to do now is take our poster print and align it from one edge. I start with the left. It's easier for me. And I roll it forward. If you're worried about the alignment here of the edges being perfect, I would suggest you don't, because typically if you have a design like this, what you want to do is build some margin of error around the board so that if you're not perfect with your matting or your with your alignment, when you lay it down, it won't be such a problem. Alright, so the poster board is now affixed to the foam core, and what I'm going to do now is start to turn this one large piece into many smaller pieces in rough cuts. The reason I do this is because for me it's easier to handle if I'm able to cut them individually. So I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm just going to go down the middle and create some divisions, and I'm going to just keep dividing until I have all individual pieces to work them on. I'll put these to the side. Alright, so there you go. This is where we really begin here. I usually, again, get all of my pieces cut down to rough segments, and then I go in and I do the exact trimming. So what I actually do here is I don't use straight edges when I cut the lines along these props. I actually imagine a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch gap or buffer or padding around the edges. I start at the front of the prop and I drag the blade back toward me slowly. Again, if you're in a rush, I suggest you not be. It's a very sharp blade. You don't want to hurt yourself. Well, got a little issue there with the edge, but you can catch it. Might need to apply a little more adhesive to that later. Alright, that's one. Actually, I have to do this edge here. That is one. One and done. Next. You may or may not be able to cut this fast when you first begin, but in time, as you get used to this and practice it a little more, you're going to develop your own pace. That's 2 done. For these bubble quotes, if you want to call this shape a bubble, I typically start at the tip that points toward the guest's face, and I cut back toward myself. Typically want to get the hard part done first. And here where the tip actually makes a sharp point, I try not to keep it sharp. I'll blunt it toward the edge. That's just me. That's my preference. In terms of durability, I mean, it's foam core, so you're gonna have some wear over this over time if you intend to use these for multiple events. I typically don't use them for multiple events. I use them for one event at a time. If I'm working a shower or a wedding reception, something to where I've actually personalized the sign, I'm not going to use this again, so I'm just going to give this to the client, to the customer. It's a great souvenir. It's amazing to see someone's face light up when they see their name on a prop. For multiple day events, I actually worked a conference last week, and it was 3 days. I took 16 of these out there, and they held up. Very few scratches, no bends actually. Maybe I was just lucky, but it worked really well. I was very pleased. As you guys do these, I'd like you to keep in touch with me. Let me know how these work out for you. The sheet that I'm cutting today, I'm actually going to put onto photoboothprops.com as a download. It's going to be free for you to try. I'll have the text editable so that you can change any of this if you want. The font won't be embedded, meaning you won't be able to change the text and retain the font. However, I will tell you what the name of this font is if you want to keep this particular style. Otherwise, you can apply any other style that you like from a font perspective to this cut, or to this prop. Sorry. This particular prop here has rounded corners, and that's just something I did in the design because I wanted to look more like a board. If you want to try your hand at rounding the corner, you can. It's just a matter of bending or curving the blade. And as you do more of this in time, you'll get more proficient with it. So you can try that. So there you go, guys. This has been the tutorial for creating your own photo booth props using foam core. Again, let me know how you guys do. I'll be really interested to see. You'll be able to find these on photoboothprops.com. Again, this file will be free. I'll probably put up another file that has some social media icons on there, the big thumb and a couple of other things. You'll be able to grab those as well. Cut them yourself. And happy photo boothing. Thanks.